Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel and I have my coffee and I have some very comfy clothes on because when I got home from work today, I just decided it's going to be as relaxing of a day as possible. And of course, as soon as I start recording, my neighbor starts to vacuum. So I really hope you guys can't hear that, and I will probably try to listen when I'm editing to see if it's a really obnoxious sound. If it is, then I guess I will re record and y'all will never know. But if you do know about the sounds going on, then that means it wasn't so bad. But let's dive into the book of the day, which is The Library Game by Gigi Pandian, and it is Secret Staircase Mystery number 4. Now, with many cozy mystery books, I do believe that you can read them out of order. Now, sure, the characters may grow as people or relationships may kind of develop and things of that nature, which is totally fine. But the story and the understanding of what is happening is not going to be reliant on the other one. And so with this one, now because I've read Gigi Pandian before, but I do not believe it was this series. It was another one, The Accidental Alchemist, I believe was the first one in it. I think that's right. Anyway, I really like Gigi Pandian's work. I'm going to click on her name. Wait, come on, there it is. And we're going to click. There it is. Sorry about that. The Accidental Alchemist is number 1 of Accidental Alchemist Mystery number 1. And it seems as though the first one for the Secret Staircase Mystery is Under Lock and Skeleton Key, which makes me want to go read it because that just sounds really cool. Now, it does seem as though Gigi Pandian's a USA Today best-selling and Agatha Award-winning mystery author, breast cancer survivor, and accidental almost vegan. She's the child of professors from New Mexico and the southern tip of India and spent her childhood traveling around the world. So that's just a little bit about the author of Gigi Pandian. And I will say The Accidental Almost Vegan makes a lot of sense because when I first read The Accidental Alchemist, I believe the main character is more or less kind of an immortal. Like, she pretty much will kind of live forever. I'm not saying she can't die. I'm just saying that if she takes care of herself really well and she doesn't get mortally wounded, that I don't believe that she will age past her current level. And the character of that book is vegan. And in the back of that book, because the way they describe some of the food just sounds so decadently delicious, just absolutely chef's kiss. And in the back of that book, it gives you some recipes. Now, I'm not vegan, but I am completely open to trying delicious food of any kind. And I do have a friend in Chicago who they tend to eat vegetarian, not strictly vegan. So they also eat a lot of different things. So I recommended that she also try some of those recipes because they just sounded so good. But let's go back to the book. Let's go back to the Library Game by Gigi Pandian, which is number 4. And let's dive into it and see what we think. In the library game, Tempest Raj and the Secret Staircase Construction are renovating a classic detective fiction library that just got its first real-life mystery. Tempest Raj couldn't be happier that the family business, Secret Staircase Construction, is finally getting the recognition it deserves. Known for enchanting architectural features like sliding bookcases and secret passageways, yes please, the company is now taking on a dream project, transforming a home into a public library that celebrates the history's greatest fictional detectives. Though the work is far from done, Grey House Library's new owner is eager to host a murder mystery dinner and literary-themed escape room. But when a rehearsal ends with an actor murder and a body vanishes, Tempest is witness to a seeming impossible crime. Fueled by her grandfather's Yeah, Scottish and Indian meals, because I was like, her grandfather's Indian. Scottish and Indian meals, because her grandmother is Scottish. Tempest and the rest of the crew must figure out who's making beloved classic mystery plots come to life in a deadly game. So that's kind of where we can stop on that. It does say it's mystery, cozy. I did have the audiobook, which was very well done. And it says contemporary romance, or it's either contemporary and romance, but I don't think the romance is really. If you're looking for a romance book, don't pick this one up. If you're looking for a cozy mystery, pick this one up. That's what you'll get. And then you'll get a little bit of love interest along the way. It's not a ton, but there is some in there to kind of wet your whistle, so to speak. And it is a book about books, because it is going to be a book about this library that is getting renovated. So, it is about 320 pages. Again, I had the audiobook, so I want to say it was somewhere around 11 hours, and is expected publication of March 18th, 2025. Sorry, my tongue just keeps tripping over itself today. But let us go into my thoughts, and I'm just scrolling just a little bit to get to some notes that I made. So, again, this is the first one in this series that I have read, and I don't know if the mystery that they reference in the beginning, or that they kind of reference throughout, if it's the book number 3. If it is book number 3, then they didn't resolve book number 3. Now, if this is just a kind of a mystery that is left unresolved that we just follow up with in this book, then that's very cool. But they don't seem to reference any other of past construction, sort of, or past mysteries to unravel. But Tempest is helping to build or renovate this house, this gray house, into a kind of a murder mystery library. And so we think of like works of like Agatha Christie, but we also can think of works by like Nio Marsh or Sherlock Holmes, or any of the other, like, I mean, there's quite a bit. There's quite a lot that you can have a kind of private library that will be made public, that is free for people to like go into, that is only about a specific genre of book. And it sounds very cool, because they do have like some sliding bookcases and things of that nature. Now, from what I'm to understand, there were no hidden passageways in this particular book, or this particular house, because that's not really what they were aiming for. But they do, or they are planning for like a murder mystery dinner theater, and a what else are they? They're doing like an escape room as well in one of the other rooms. So they've got some plans, and they are working on it. They're having a dress rehearsal for kind of this mystery dinner that they're going to have, and tickets are sold out. So they really want to make it happen. But the thing is like they really haven't fully gotten all their permits yet, but everybody's really been supportive, so the council's really just got to vote on it, and then they can have it. But it's supposed to be part of like this spring walk, where, you know, it can be part of that. People are walking around, probably drinking wine, visiting local shops, local boutiques, local wineries, but then also getting to see this library, or at least these events, for the first time, and kind of get an idea of what this place is going to be like. And it doesn't sound like the library is fully ready to be opened, but they are still going to host these events. Like I said, probably getting the community excited about what's coming. And so I really like that idea. It sounds as though Tempest family, who do this secret stairway construction, they've also done like another sort of like another very similar kind of murder mystery like library sort of thing for someone else, possibly a bookshop. And they did one for like another, it was like a bookshop, but the wall opens into like a wine bar. And then they did one, like they did a secret garden for somebody, which sounded phenomenal as well. Like I kind of wish somebody would pick up this series as like a Netflix series or something, because these are the things that I want to see. Like, stop making live actions of all my Disney stuff and just make me some really fun murder mysteries or something like that, like from one to the other. So I was hooked. I was absolutely I don't want to say enthralled, because I think that's the wrong word, but they grabbed me very quickly with the theme of this book. I love books, I love libraries, I like murder mysteries, and so all of that. And then, of course, during their very first like walkthrough, someone gets dead. Someone is unalived. And so now it is kind of a locked room murder mystery. There's only a certain number of people who could have done it. And it's not only a locked room, they called it something else where one of the characters says it, and I heard her say it, and I was like, oh, that's really clever. I don't think I heard it put like that, because you have a locked room where you have a certain number of people who could have done it, but then you also have a different circumstance where like the outside is also like being monitored. And so anyway, you'll have to read it to find out, because of course I'm blanking on what the character called it. And I thought that was so clever, because Tempest was previously a stage magician. She has a history, has a past of putting on stage performances. And one of her other friends, who's also present, he's like the Hindu Houdini is what I think he refers to him as. But anyway, he is also a stage magician. So these particular characters are all going through pretty much Scooby-Doo like antics, because there is Tempest, there is Sanjay, who is kind of like, I don't want to say an ex-boyfriend, because they only really casually dated, but kind of. And then there's Gideon, who is currently Tempest's love interest, but he's about to move to Paris for a few months for an internship. And then there's Ivy. And so there's the four of them who are really kind of our main Scooby-Doo gang. And Tempest does have a bunny named Abra. And even though Abra doesn't really go along for the adventures in Scooby-Doo-like fashion, I think Abra is a very good mascot. So these four individuals really do kind of head up the problem-solving, mystery-solving aspect of the book. And they've got to unravel what has happened, who done it, why they did it. And it was very, very clever, because they do have quite a few, and I say quite a few, but they have at least, I would say, 5 to 6 potential suspects, all of who have some sort of tenuous motive of why they may not want this library to come online. And some start acting a little weird. Some are, some do this, some do that. Some are secretive. And so I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to tell you who did it. I'm just saying that our 4 Scooby-Doo gangs, they're pretty innocent. They're pretty innocent. Even though Sanjay, he does come into the scene as a potential actor. He is supposed to replace one of the actors, Lucas, but Lucas ends up being the one who's found unalived. And Sanjay, if he's not the main target, then he is also a potential suspect. But I don't want to give you any more. I don't want to give too much away. It is just a very good, like I said, pretty quick murder mystery. It goes pretty quickly. The only thing I would really say that kind of aggravated me a little bit is that Tempest was constantly saying during different parts that she would notice something was different, or she had a feeling something was off. And it happened very frequently that Tempest would notice something was off. And then she would notice it was off, and she would look at the situation, and then nothing would be resolved, and we would move on. Every once in a while, we would revisit that. But I think in the end, we finally kind of understand maybe a little bit, but not not super clearly as to what she was constantly, like, what was constantly niggling at her as being off. I also didn't super feel like we needed to rope in her family as much as we did. I get it. Her grandfather is a pretty awesome dude making all this food for everybody. Her grandmother's a painter. Her dad is like the head of the construction crew. Great, fine, cool, lovely people. But I do feel like we just did start adding just a little too many people. And now, and there's, but as an asset, they do make a lot of references to other classic murder mysteries, like And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, and some others that pop up throughout. Now, I did find this one particular individual who said that there are many, many references to things that happened in the first 3 books. However, I guess I didn't fully know what those references might be, so they went over my head. Because I do feel like I can read this as a standalone, or I can go back and read the other ones. So I just wanted to make that mention that someone else does say that there are references to those other books, but I guess I didn't catch them because I haven't read them. So I don't feel like it's a detriment to the book, but maybe when I go back and read them, I'll be like, haha, that's what that reference was about. But with all of that being said, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I like these light, easy reads that don't take up a lot of bandwidth in my brain, don't leave me with any sort of book hangover, and I can kind of get the mystery done, put it away, and move on to the next book pretty easily. And I do think I have a couple of maybe hard-hitting books in the pretty near future, so it's nice to have kind of this sort of little palate cleanser. I give it 4.25 stars. So anyway, with all of that being said, I do want to, oh goodness, now I've got the hiccups. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope, if you haven't already, that you will like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next page. I hope you have a great one. Bye.